Speaking of studs, we got new studs in the league, obviously rookies, man. And so we got to talk about some of these rookies because we're hearing a lot of really good things coming from these rookie camps right now. One of the standouts, I would say, of offseason so far, really making a lot of plays in camp, even if the ball isn't always coming his way, Malik Nabers. And so Malik Nabers has obviously been in Giants camp tearing shit up, bro. And he's been putting people on highlight reels. It seems like every day we're getting a new deep ball, whether it's been caught or not. Malik Nabers is doing exactly what they drafted him to do at the number 6 spot. How are you adjusting with Malik Nabers? Because this is a player that I am very concerned about with the quarterback situation. I've already put him down in my rankings significantly. I have him in the back end of the wide receiver 3 category, around wide receiver 30-ish. So I've already penalized him for having a bad quarterback. But this play on the field, it's jumping off the screen, Tyler. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
How are you valuing Malik Nabers right now? Because I've seen anything from him being like a top 15 guy to like outside the top 30.
So I have him top 30. I don't remember exactly where I have him. I know he's kind of close to like wide receiver 20-ish range. I want to say like right around 25. So, I mean, obviously like training camp news is nice and the highlight reels. I just feel like this is him. This is the player that he can be. Like, we're talking about a guy who truly can be a superstar in the league. Yeah. So I'm not paying that much attention to it just because I already expect this. Like, it doesn't change the fact that Daniel Jones just is not very good. Like that's the biggest problem here. And really, I look at Malik Nabers kind of in the same sense of like Garrett Wilson his first 2 years in the league, where he could be one of the highest targeted wide receivers in the NFL, but he's just so severely handicapped by the quarterback play that he just can't be anything more than, wide receiver 20-ish range. So I really like the player. I think the player, I would have argued that he went to Arizona and Marvin Harrison Jr. went here. I would be taking Malik Nabers over Marvin Harrison. It'd be really, really close and even like dynasty, just because I think that these two guys in terms of prospects are so close, but it's just unfortunate that he went to New York and that's Danny Dimes.
Well, you make a good comparison because a lot of people expect rookies to come in and be Puka Nacua or come in and be Jamar Chase or come in and be Justin Jefferson. And that's what the rookie hype a lot of times is we've seen rookies come in and surprise us, but it doesn't always work like that when it comes to talent. Drake London's another player that came in, and even in year 2, a lot of people were expecting like a major increase out of production. We do this all the time. It's like not every rookie comes in and just is themselves immediately. Sometimes they have to work into being the player that they are. And sometimes they're dealt a bad hand when they come in and start. Do I think Malik Nabers is going to be a star? Yes, probably a top 5 guy in 3-4 years once a quarterback changes happen.
Yeah.
That's going to happen in order for Malik Nabers to see his true potential, unfortunately. But it's good to see him doing well in camp. Next up, a guy that I have been absolutely fading in every aspect, going as like a high top 36 receiver somehow. Lad McConkey. I've been absolutely dogging this guy in all my mock drafts, talking shit and saying like, he doesn't deserve this love. He's making highlight plays, and it seems like it's happening pretty often. Obviously, with Justin Herbert out, it's going to be a little bit more limited, but do you think he's taking over the wide receiver 1 spot? Because, this team still does have Quentin Johnson, who seems to be dropping a catch every single day when we watch training camp.
Yeah.
They also have Joshua Palmer, who's been a consistent veteran on this team. And then DJ Chark, for all intents and purposes, has been named a starter. So there's not a whole lot of offense to go around typically in the passing game with Greg Roman. How are you feeling about Lad McConkey, who's on a lot of people's like sleeper list?
He's interesting, and the biggest problem, though, is like I talked about earlier, is just college target share. And he did have Brock Bowers there, right? He went to Georgia, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he had Brock Bowers there, which Brock Bowers could be one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in the next couple of years. Like he could be a stud. So you do have to take that into consideration. Just never really earned targets.
He was terrible.
Yeah, he was
terrible for standards. He was terrible at
it. Like, and it's, you don't really see these players that weren't very good in college, or at least like had good college production, all of a sudden in pros, go out there and be 1,000-yard wide receiver. But like, he did get drafted to a really good situation. But this is the problem that we were dealing with Quinn Johnson last year too. Like, Quinn Johnson was making some catches. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, he could be the next big thing here. The wide receiver room is just wide open in this team, on this team. So I don't want to say that I'm like, I don't take a lot of them. I don't even want to say that I'm not fading him. I just don't really take him. There's other players that are currently going around him that I take. So while this is good, it's also kind of like on air, and it's not a real
I just
NFL game. So we'll see what
I don't see
happens.
it, man. I'm just like, I think he's had a couple deep shots, which you like to see from Herbert, especially who takes deep shots. But he's going to be a slot guy in this Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh offense.
You're
Who
just
we
hoping
know,
he's volume guy. Like that's what
yeah,
you're really hoping.
you're hoping that, right? So can he get to 6 touchdowns? Can he get to 80 catches? Can he get to 1,000 yards? It's kind of what you're hoping for, because in that range, there's a lot of players that can do that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of players in that 30 to 35 range that can see 1,000 yards. So interesting name, Lad McConkey. I'll be keeping an eye on it. It'll suck to not see the Justin Herbert connection
Yeah.
for a few weeks, but
And that honestly could hurt too, quite a bit.
yeah.
I mean, you got a rookie and got to build that chemistry. So that could be a big blow, honestly.
Yeah. A couple more rookies, man. And then Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy, obviously very notable, fastest player in the draft, got paired up with Pat Mahomes. A lot of people love that. We've seen the speed early, Tyler, like deep shot after deep shot downfield early. And we've also seen a little bit of the bad with Xavier Worthy getting pushed to the ground by a linebacker corner because of the size. So obviously 2 sides of the coin there. I like what I'm seeing out of Xavier Worthy. Do I think it's going to be consistent? That's where I have the issue, right? You got to take him in the top 35 to 40 receivers right now, depending on the ADP. But Xavier Worthy is another player who a lot of people have high aspirations from. My concern is, how consistent is he going to be in this offense? That's my thing with Hollywood Brown. They're making noise in camp. Rashee Rice making noise in camp right now. Pat Mahomes is looking like he's slinging that thing all over the place right now. I have concerns about the consistency when it comes to Xavier Worthy, but it's very clear and evident he's going to be more than just a shot guy at every single game. He's going to have opportunity.
So I like Xavier Worthy, depending on where he ends up going, because I've seen times where he goes in the 8th round, which honestly I don't mind taking a shot there. But then there's been other times where he kind of goes in the 6th round. I don't really like him in that range. So it just kind of depends on where he goes in the draft. I'm a big Rashee Rice guy. I like Rashee Rice. Did fantastic at the end of last season. Historically, we see these guys that do that improve the second year. So I like Rashee Rice. But if there was a place that Xavier Worthy could go and flourish, it would be with Andy Reid, and who can figure out how to use him and his size. So I do think there's a lot of potential. And like you said, he could maybe be very inconsistent, but he could have some massive spike weeks where he has 3 catches and goes for $120 and 2 touchdowns on those 3 catches. So he's just a guy that he's intriguing just because always he'll be playing with Patrick Mahomes, and that's intriguing enough. Yeah. Like it. So I don't want to say I'm fading him. I don't mind where he's currently going. It just ends up kind of where because I do think that he could be a player where the hype just gets way too out of control with him. If you keep seeing highlight reels and training camp, maybe he does perform, but like he could get ADP could be very costly.
Yeah, I'd be much more interested in him in a standard league than PPR league. Like in a PPR league, I'm probably out. But I think in a standard league, that'd be a guy I'd be like, okay, like as my wide receiver 4 or 5, I'd be interested in. All right, a couple of rookie quarterbacks. We haven't really talked about the quarterback.
Let me ask you one thing real quick. Him or Lad?
Go Worthy. I'll go Worthy over Lad.
Yeah, I would too.
Lad, I just don't see the upside with Lad. And if I'm going to take a rookie, it better have some upside. I just don't see that there. 2 rookie quarterbacks that are going around the same. Both of them are making noise. I would say Caleb Williams for his attachment with Romo Dunze. And then Jayden Daniels obviously has been the talk of Commanders camp and how poised he looks already in his relationship with Terry McLaurin. Both Caleb and Jayden Daniels are going in like the high-end QB2 range. Romo Dunze and Terry McLaurin are both going in the later wide receiver 3-ish type area, depending on your league size. Which one of these connections are you buying into more or changing your stock in because of their connection? You've been seeing a lot of this Caleb and Rome thing, like they're connecting, and obviously DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are on the team. And then you see Jayden Daniels, who is in Cliff Kingsbury's offense now, should be able to thrive there in a rookie year. Maybe not the passer, presumably, that Caleb is, but should still be effective. Which of these duos are you buying into?
So who was it? Jayden Daniels and who? Terry McLaurin?
Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Yeah. Caleb Williams and Romo Dunze.
I mean, if I had to pick one of the duo, I would probably go with Jayden Daniels. And the reason why is just because I like Jayden Daniels' potential upside just because the rushing, like I think he's going to rush more than Caleb is. So I really like that. And then also, um, Terry McLaurin, it's just I love Rome, and I said this earlier, but it's just really hard to see Rome being a high-end fantasy producer year one with those wide receivers there. Like I
Yeah.
just don't
It would
I
take an
don't
injury for sure.
yeah, it would take an injury. And so I do like both these quarterbacks though. Because you have Caleb just going to a fantastic situation. Like this is the best thing that you could hope for your number one or your number one pick is just going to the system. So I really like him this year in fantasy football. I really like Jayden Daniels, but if I had to pick a pair, I'd probably go with Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, just because Terry McLaurin could be the clear cut number one guy, and I really like Jayden Daniels' potential.
Yeah, especially in that system. I mean, we know the air raid system is good for fantasy, especially if
Yeah.
Jaden's going to be running the way that he is. And I have some concerns about Caleb playing in Chicago, playing on Shane Waldron's system. Like, I know that they're going to get him the ball, but, and he's surrounded by good weapons. But I think we'll see more up and downs passing wise with Caleb than we will with Jayden Daniels, who can move with his legs as well. So it's good to hear the things about Rome Odunze, though, because I kind of did tear him down a little bit behind Keenan and behind DJ Moore. I would say that connection, if it lasts into the season, like how we were seeing CJ Stroud and Tank Dell have the connection we saw last year, I would start to have a little bit of concern about Keenan Allen, a guy who's
I
only on
already
a
have
little bit.
concern.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. He was top 5 last year, so I'm like,
I know, but
it's tough.
yeah.
It's tough. So, anything else you got as far as training camp news or things you want to get off before we head out, Tyler?
No, I mean, just Jamar Chase, wide receiver 1 season. Let's go. Give him that bag so it can happen. Come on.
And listen, coach speak ain't everything. Everybody's worried about Tyler Algier. We're not worried about Tyler Algier on this side. Breeze.
I had someone say that on a video earlier today. I was like, come on, bro. Like, are you
Bijan.
serious?
Bijan. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one.